Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We will call the Personnel Committee to order at 4:30. The first item we have on our agenda this evening is 2024-053, a resolution approving the salary adjustment for classified non-bargaining employee Lori Galloway based on job performance, increased responsibilities in her job duties, and pay equity for the sheriff. Inspector Holland.
Good evening, everyone. I had to think of who I was there for a minute. Bill Holland from the Sheriff's Office. So this is Lori Galloway. She's worked for the county for 25 years or so now. She does a great job. Since coming back to us, she has HR duties. She's supervising people. She's training people. She's taken on some more responsibility. So that's the reason for this increase.
Okay, thank you. Do any members of the committee have questions? Any other members of council? If no, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I got a motion from Councilman Ford. All in favor? I have a motion from Councilman Ford on 2024-053. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 2024-054, a resolution enacting a 3.5% salary increase for current non-bargaining classified and unclassified employees of the Clerk of Courts, Counsel, Engineer, Executive, Fiscal Officer, Human Resource Commission, Internal Audit Department, Office of Information Technology, Prosecutor, and Sheriff, effective April 1st, 2024, for the Executive's Department of Human Resources.
Good afternoon. Chip Klepper, Assistant Director, Executive Shapiro's Department of Human Resources. We are requesting a 3.5 salary increase or general wage increase for non-bargaining charter office employees. This goes back to the 3.5 increase dictated by the fact-finding that came out last year for the Sheriff's Office. And I think Brian has something he wants to say, as usual.
Yes, I know very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Klepper. Okay, do any members of committee have questions? Any questions from council? If none, may I have a motion? I got a motion from Councilman Schmidt on 2024-054. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes. If there's no further business coming before the Personnel Committee, we will close at 4:32.
Public Works will come to order. We have one resolution to consider this evening, 2024-055, and I'll entertain a motion to amend by substitution. Purple. Brandon, on this one?
Yep.
Wait a minute, you're not on this one. How about Aaron Dickinson? You want to move to amend by substitution? Aaron Dickinson moved to amend by substitution. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Aaron. An amended resolution authorizing appropriation proceedings for the warranty deeds and temporary easements over the real property known as parcel number 0500-823, parcel number 0500-524, and parcel number 0500-589, needed for the Cleveland-Massillon Road sidewalk project located in Bath Township and Council District 5 for the engineer and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Heidi Swindell, Summit County Engineer's Office. This is a pretty standard piece of legislation authorizing court proceedings for a right-of-way take. In this scenario, like Taco Bell of America and Warwick Properties, they're just such massive corporations. When we sent in our fair market value offers, it just hasn't gotten through their legal departments yet. And then the amended one, there was actually a sale of the property, so that is why it's amended. We're taking that one off. We'll be back to talk about it if they don't get back to us, but we will make them the same offer. And so this process, it deposits the monies with the courts. And so then we can continue to negotiate with the property owners, but we are allowed to move forward with the process while negotiations continue, so we can go out to bid and start construction. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Heidi. Questions from members of the committee, members of council, the public? Gloria Rogers moved on amended 2024-055. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any other
Thank you.
Any other business come before the Public Works Committee? Then we are adjourned.
executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Akron for the boarding at the Summit County Jail of misdemeanor offenders charged under a City of Akron ordinance or charged with contempt of an Akron Municipal Court judge for a term of 1 year from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $4,928,697 for the executive and sheriff, and declaring an emergency.
I'll take this one. This is a one-year renewal of our contract with the City of Akron under the same terms as the previous 5-year term, 2.5% increase, same number of beds to house pretrial misdemeanor folks sentenced under municipal code.
Any questions from members of the committee? I'll move. I have a motion by Ms. Walters. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 2024-057, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control, subject to the approval of the Information Technology Board, of a purchase contract with Flock Group, Inc. as the best practical source for the installation and operation of license plate reader cameras located in the City of Greene in Council District 8 in an amount not to exceed $92,100, and authorizing the executive to execute a reimbursement agreement for the amount of $92,100 with the City of Greene for the Sheriff's Office and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, everyone. Bill Holland from the Sheriff's Office again. These flock cameras would be something that would be utilized in the City of Greene. They would reimburse us for the cost of these cameras. They're being utilized all over the country. I think there's over 4,000 of them all over the country. ODOT has them. We've used them. I mean, we've solved a homicide with one for missing persons, things like that. They're very effective. This would be a 3-year contract. We wouldn't own the cameras, but if they would, break, they would replace them. But again, this is something that's going to be reimbursed from the City of Greene. They were interested in getting these put up throughout the city.
Okay, I have a question from Councilwoman Walters.
Where does the data, like the video feed, go? And how long does it get stored, and who is in control of the storage of the data?
They maintain that, and it's for law enforcement purposes only. As far as retention, I don't know the retention of it, but you can also put, a hot list, for lack of a better word. Let's say there's a missing person and you have the plate on it. You could put that in there, and then you can be alerted if that plate comes past one of the cameras, things like that. But again, as far as the retention on that, I'm not sure how long those are kept for.
Do you know if this goes to like a hard drive feed or like lives in the cloud or any of that?
I believe it's in a cloud.
Okay, thanks.
Councilwoman,
Yeah, they're spread out. If like on 77, if you were looking for them, you could probably see them. I mean, they're not hidden, but usually you're not looking for them. On poles, right.
Councilwoman McKinney? Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So just recently, we had a plate stolen from our commercial vehicle, and we didn't know it. And they were using it in New York and New Jersey through the through the tunnels. And so we happened to not use that vehicle for about 6 weeks. We reported it to Macedonia of the stolen plates. And we got in that vehicle, and just recently, we were swamped by cops. They were all over us. We turned a corner in Oakwood, and they were there. There was Dave Slakey goes, "Hey, we're getting pulled over." He goes, "No, we're really getting pulled over," and they were everywhere. And it was because of those stolen plates. It was amazing how those cameras picked up on that.
There's a network. They're all over the country. And that has helped us with a case that we were investigating that went out of state. I think it was to Tennessee. Because of these cameras, we were notified that plate was picked up out of state, and we were able to locate the person that way.
Councilwoman McKinney?
Thank you, Chairwoman. So they're located on the interstate in Greene, or are they also in major intersections, or?
They don't have to be on the interstate. I'm not sure of where the locations will be. I think they're about 4 to 6 weeks away from being installed, but they can be, anywhere any roadway.
Okay, and about how many, do you know?
14.
Okay.
14.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilman Ford?
Who's maintaining them?
The company does.
The company comes out to
Yeah,
maintain.
we do not own these cameras, or the city of Green does not own these cameras. It's just a 3-year agreement, maintenance, software, that type of thing. So if one goes down, they'll come out and replace it. And
And they maintain the data.
I believe they do. It's only accessible by law enforcement, though.
And these cameras identify license plates? Do they ever identify people, or
Just license plates, and then you can, if you're aware of a certain date or time that an incident occurred, if you remember that truck that exploded on 77, if you identify a time like that, if it's within, I think it's around a quarter square mile of the camera, you can get that footage of what happened.
One additional question. You say they're all over the country. They all interact, or do you send out from, say, our area to the other areas asking for assistance?
Yeah, you'd have, let's say we were looking for ABC 1234 license plate. You would send that, you would enter that into the system, and that would go throughout the network of the cameras.
So technically, the system is in our area, and then we pursue needs, and if we need something else, if they come to.
Right, or, let's say if there was an investigation in New Hampshire and it were to happen in Green, around one of the cameras in Green, that would then alert on that camera.
Okay, it keeps our information safe, is what I think I'm concerned about, making sure that it's not just out there for the whole of the United States. Thank you. So, Mr. Holland, what we were told is that when we turned the corner, that plate got flagged immediately, and it got sent to the police department, and the cops were all over us, like instantly. So that's what they told us, it just,
It goes off the rear plates. I don't know how quickly, I don't know how. So there's your testimonial.
it was real quick.
So, like, if there's an Amber Alert, it only helps if the Amber Alert knows if there's a license plate number associated? Or
Yeah, I mean, you could enter a
identify
vehicle, or if you knew that vehicle was in a certain area, you can request. But yeah, I mean, that would be something you'd want a license plate. I mean, you'd likely, in an Amber Alert situation, you have to have some sort of, in order to issue the alert, you have to have some sort of information that would help the public find it, whether it be a description of a vehicle or something like that. So it's common that you would have a license plate in that situation.
Any other questions from
Madam
members?
Chair, please. Thank you. Welcome. Hey, reading this here, it says, the City of Green, in consultation with the Sheriff's Office. Did the City of Green come to the Sheriff's Office and say, hey, we need these cameras installed? Can you tell me more about the process for which this was, decided?
I don't have the background on the project itself, other than I think it's through the policing contract.
Yeah, no, it was a request from the city of Green to have these installed. In order to get access to the system, it had to be through the sheriff's office, which is why it's being transacted the way it is. Essentially, we're licensing / leasing these cameras, paying the subscription. It's the cost of it's built into the city of Green's policing contract, so we get reimbursed.
Okay.
These are the same cameras that are being used by the City of Akron, correct? Same system?
I believe they have flock
It
cameras.
is. One thing I would note, we've, this project we're working on with the city and university with the milestone cameras, it's a different technology platform. These are, as Bill has said, they're license plate readers, essentially, with a national database. And that's what's attractive to law enforcement, is this information is shared. They're truly not surveillance cameras. They really are for monitoring traffic flow.
There's not going to be someone sitting and watching those cameras. This is, like I said, for a hot list of plates that are for missing persons or people that are wanted.
Stolen vehicles,
Right.
yeah.
Yes, Councilman Schmidt?
I will move for approval, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilman Schmidt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. 2024-058, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for new X-ray equipment for use by the medical examiner and her staff for an estimated total cost not to exceed $75,900 for the Executive's Department of the Medical Examiner, and declaring an emergency.
Hi, Denise DiNapoli with the Executive's Medical Examiner Office. We are seeking bids to replace our current X-ray system that is 30 years old. The table doesn't lock anymore. It's not safe for use, and the other elements we're proactively replacing before they break down. And the funding was approved under the Capital Improvements Program for this.
Do we have any questions from members of the committee? Other members of council?
I'll move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilwoman Walters. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. And I will call public safety to a close at 4:45. I will open the Rules Committee at 4:46. We have one item, 2024-059, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of Change Order Number 3 to a professional service contract with Clemens, Nelson and Associates, Inc. to provide additional professional services in various negotiations, grievances, arbitrations, and other labor matters in an amount not to exceed $9,000 for a cumulative increase of 168%, for a total amount not to exceed $134,000 for the Executive's Department of Law and Risk Management and the Sheriff, and declaring an emergency.
So this is basically a cleanup change order for the rest of 2023. As you may recall, I came in here in August asking for a large change order, about $75,000, knowing that we had 2 fact findings and a very large and complicated arbitration, in addition to other smaller, more grievance-oriented arbitrations at the Sheriff's Office. Hoping that $75,000 would cut it, and as you might recall, I was keeping my fingers crossed. Well, this is cleanup. We're a little bit over that. Actually, it's not going to be $9,000. I think in the end, the bill is going to be right around $8,000. So we'll just release the rest of that. But that's where we ended up for 2023, and we're going to have a new contract in 2024 that'll cover the costs during that period, and hopefully that'll be a lot less because we don't have nearly as much to do this year. So that's about it. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the committee? Questions from council? Okay, I'll move. Okay, the motion from Councilwoman Hyam. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will close Rules Committee at 4:47.
I'll open Health and Human Services Committee at 4:47 and take a point of privilege. In the audience, we have retired Akron City Police Officer Lloyd Ford. Lloyd is responsible for being the catalyst for the Summit County Police and Fire Community Engagement Fund through some comments he made at a public meeting. He let us know that our safety forces don't get reimbursed when they go out and do special things for people in our community. Young people, old people, doesn't matter. It was a great idea. We created the fund at the Akron Community Foundation. It's a small fund, but it's a fund that we are hoping to grow here in the near future. So, Lloyd, welcome. It's good to have you here. Thanks for all the good work you did.
And add that the fund will take donations.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. The fund will take donations, so I'll be standing at the door. Get your checkbooks out or your charge cards. So thank you anyway. We have 3 pieces of legislation tonight. First up is 2024-060, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a temporary assistance to needy families agreement with Emmanuel Christian Academy for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math, or STEAM, summer enrichment camp services from 4/1/24 through 9/30/24 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services, and declaring an emergency.
Hi, Heather Yannion, Department of Job and Family Services. This resolution is for, we're starting to kick off our summer planning activities. So Emmanuel runs the STEAM camp. We've done this for several years. Last year, they did this same contract amount. It's a day camp for kindergarten through 8th grade. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, Heather, at the end of the season, when it's over, if there's any kind of activities or creations that the students do, could we get a brief presentation here in front of council? Because we hear about the programs, but we never get to see, or if they're having an event that we can be invited to just to see how it turns out, just to support the youth in the program.
Absolutely. I know they do. This specific one does a event at the end of the summer. I think it's like July or beginning of August, so I'll let you guys
Let
know.
us know, that would be great. Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council?
I'll move.
Liz, was that you? I'm sorry. Yeah. Liz Walters moves on 2024-060. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thanks, Heather, on that one. Next up is a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a temporary assistance to needy families agreement with, with Emmanuel Christian Academy for entrepreneurship summer camp services from 4/1/24 through 9/30/24 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Executives Department of Job and Family Services and declaring an emergency.
Again, this is another contract that we have done annually for the last few years. This one is, I think most of you are familiar with the My Stars camp. This is this one that we do, or it started as My Stars. This one is geared for 9 through 15-year-olds and has been successful. They do a lot of entrepreneurial things and field trips and things like that. So any questions on that?
Any questions from members of the committee?
Mr. Chairperson.
Is this just for students at Emmanuel Christian Academy, or is it?
No, it's countywide open enrollment. And they have to be TANF eligible, which means they have to be under 200% of federal poverty level.
Okay. Any other members of the committee?
Yeah.
Brandon?
Are these programs running concurrently at the same time?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll leave it at it.
Oh, you moved, okay. Bethany, any other members of council questions? Okay, Mrs. McKinney moved on 2024-061. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 2024-062, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a temporary assistance to needy families agreement with Tri-County Jobs for Ohio's graduates for 2024 Summer Youth Employment Program, Outreach and Eligibility Services for the period of 4/1/24 through 8/31/24 in an amount not to exceed $125,000 for the Executives Department of Job and Family Services and declaring an emergency. Heather.
So this is for our temporary summer youth program that we run every year. We have TANF funds and we'll have some additional ODJFS TANF funds. This is the 8-week program. It's going to be running June 10th through August 3rd, 20 hours a week at $15 an hour. It is, again, open to TANF eligible families. Last year, we had a goal of 150 participants in this funding group. We served 100. We just weren't getting the traction in the schools the way we wanted to. We regrouped this year and are working with, got a head start, and we're working with YSS Youth for Summit Success. And so our goal actually for this year is 250 youth. So for this particular program, and then we also have our, which is not part of this legislation, but an overall picture, we also have our CCMEP BOSS program, which is year-round, but also does summer onboarding. So we're hoping to place approximately 700 youth between temporary summer youth employment, CCMEP, in-school youth, and then out-of-school youth. So we have some big goals this year, and we're hoping to achieve them. So,
Great. Questions from members of the committee? Members of council?
I'm sorry. One question had come in, and I forgot to mention this before. The question was what kind of employment would be offered. So I reached out to Mr. Canova, and I was just affirmed that they're engaging employers across all sectors, but we're trying to focus the youth to place them in employment that is based on their career pathway, either at Akron Public School, Barberton, what they're wanting to do, but their interest level, but also location. So if it's feasible, we're going to try to place them within their pathway. We got that started last year, and we've really amped that up in not just our temporary summer youth program, but in our BOSS programs. So there is an emphasis on finding employers always in healthcare, IT, manufacturing, engineering, and we're also working with the local government, including the county offices that, so you might see some summer youth around. So.
Great. Okay. Any questions from anyone on council? Hearing none, have a motion? So moved. Who moved? Sorry. Mr. DeVitas moved on 2024-062. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And I will close Health and Human Services at 4:54. And we have two items on finance. I'll stand in for Chairman Donofrio. First up is 2024-063, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Azteca Systems as a best practical source for CityWorks asset management software licensing, updates, and software support for a one-year term from 4/7/24 to 4/6/25 in an amount not to exceed $120,000 for the Office of Information Technology and declaring an emergency. Stephen.
Stephen Byrne, Office of Information Technology. So this is asset management and permit software for DSSS and building standards. This is the exact same price as last year, and this should be the last year that they have to renew this as they make their migration into their new system.
Okay, great. Mrs. Rogers.
Steve,
Yes.
you've worked so diligently to improve our system. Do other communities interact with us so that when there is an issue, which we've had before, the systems can work together and be of assistance to one another?
So from a technological standpoint, a lot of these systems are made to be separate and siloed, but there is definitely skill sets from taken particularly from the Munis project that we're working on. We do talk to a number of other people, whether it's private, public, that we do try to glean information on. So there is a help, but it's not necessarily something that's integrated within the software because different configurations, depending on your implementation, are different across the board. But yeah,
They want to keep it that way, but I was just
yeah.
wondering if we're able to be of assistance since we have really stepped up our programs.
Yeah, there is. From a local level, yeah, from the city of Akron, city of Hudson, there's a number of acquaintances and relationships that I have particularly that we talk through on a number of things. Cybersecurity is probably the biggest topic that comes up for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll move on this, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Hearing or seeing no other questions, Mrs. Rogers moved on 2024-063. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next up is 2024-064, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control, subject to the approval of the Information Technology Board, of a purchase contract with Zix Corporation as a best practical source for Office 365 service with Zix, AppRiver, OpenText as a cloud solution provider for a one-year term from 5/1/24 through 4/30/25 in an amount not to exceed $248,961.60 for the Office of Information Technology and declaring an emergency.
So this covers our Office 365 licenses. This is the Microsoft suite of Office applications. This includes all our email accounts that goes into that. This is roughly about 1,300 accounts, a little bit over. And this covers us for the entire year, and it is only a 0.5% increase from last year, which is actually pretty good, considering a lot of software we're running anywhere between the 5 and 10% range.
I'll move on
Any
this.
questions from the committee? Members of council? Do you have a motion?
I'll move.
Ms. Walters moved on 2024-064. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thanks.
And that's our last item, and I'll close Finance Committee at 4:49.